Judge, we are ready to go.
One. Let's call the meeting to order. Today is February the 12th. It's 10 a.m. Proof of posting, please.
Thank you. The agenda was posted on Tuesday, February 9th, 2021 at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you. Okay, let's pause briefly for a moment of silence, and then we'll have the pledge to the flags. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pledge to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Okay, I do not believe we have public comments today. So moving forward, under D, under consideration and our action of the following items. First, we will have a presentation regarding economic development projects by Chris Collins, and she will present the presentation. Morning, Chris.
Morning, Judge. How are y'all doing?
Fine, thank you.
Good. Apologize. I need to pull up a presentation. If y'all can give me just a second, it's going to take me a minute to.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to stop my video for that. about that, we're good to go now. Wanted to talk with you a little bit about what we work on in economic development. Um, you often see me, but I wanted y'all to also know that there's a whole team of folks behind me that is focused on economic development and working hard every day, even in the icy cold winter days like today, really trying to push economic development forward. In our world, we wear a lot of hats, and not only are we the staff for the economic development team at the chamber, we're the staff for the Waco McLennan County Economic Development Corporation. We serve as the staff for the Waco Industrial Foundation. We serve as administrator on behalf of the City of Waco's Foreign Trade Zone, and we're also the staff for the McLennan County Spaceport Development Corporation. So we answer to a lot of folks, which is good, but it also means that when it comes to our economic development projects, we have a really centralized point of contact for our prospects. We work at the chamber under an economic development strategic plan, which is the Build Greater Waco. And now we're in our second iteration of that, Build Greater Waco 2, which is really designed, and our focus there is always around economic development, but we do that in a number of different ways, focusing on talent and workforce and education development, making sure that we have thriving economic corridors. We have public policy advocacy that we do to ensure that the things that are happening at the state and federal level are positive impacts on our business community. We have a focus on innovation and entrepreneurship. And then we always want to have our eye moving forward and looking ahead at the future economy so that we are never caught off guard by what we do and what our plans are for growth. And our economic development policy and our mission is prosperity for all. Looking at those specific areas of work that we do, we want to make sure that challenged areas are attractive for investment, that are going to spur job creation in key locations across Waco and the greater Waco area. We want to make sure that our per capita income for the greater Waco community continues to increase. Advocate for business. We want to make sure that we're attracting and building the next generation of high impact businesses in the community. And again, with that future economy, always having our eye on the future. The work that we've been doing is been in place for a very long time. This picture here, the predecessor organization to the Greater Waco Chamber was the Waco Businessmen's Club. I'm certainly glad that that's advanced on beyond just an all-male group. But even back in 1909, we were talking about this community as a place for economic development. And the letterhead itself says the city of unequaled industrial and commercial opportunities. So for well over a century, we've been focused on Waco as a hub for economic activity. And that work continues today. We know the great things that Waco has to offer and that the greater Waco McLennan County community have to offer. We want to make sure that the rest of the world does as well. And Dr. Perryman, whose business resides in Waco, but is world renowned for his economic impact analysis of economies, says that there's reason to believe that Waco will continue to emerge as the next great city in Texas. And we truly believe that, and given the level of activity that we're seeing in economic development these days, we know that that we're on the radar for things that we haven't been on the radar for in the past. Excuse me. We work a lot, economic development used to be just about the pure numbers of jobs created, investment coming in, but now it's focused on really 4 pillars of community and economic growth: prosperity, skills, innovation, and livability. We do that in a number of ways. We do that through the traditional economic development world in our business attraction and business retention expansion efforts. We have a dedicated person on our team, Jennifer Branch, who you probably get notices from on a regular basis about business retention visits. We're visiting with companies on a regular basis to ensure that our community is moving forward. If they have issues of concern, that we're addressing those on the front end, and that when they have opportunities for growth, they know that we're a community that wants to support business growth and job creation. We have a focused approach when it comes to economic development efforts. We look at professional services, aerospace and defense, healthcare technology, supply chain and logistics, advanced manufacturing and innovation. And we think that these are areas where we have the highest potential of opportunity, because these are areas where we also have high concentrations of employers and jobs within the community. We have great education assets that can help create the pipeline for future workers. And we have the infrastructure in place to support the growth of these types of businesses rolling forward. And of course, you know, we have fantastic companies that are already a part of our business makeup here. We want to make sure that they continue to grow. And when we bring prospects into the marketplace, they are always taken aback by the types of businesses, the corporate portfolio of business that we have here. We always get the comment of, we never knew that Waco had so much, or that McLennan County had so much. And this is something that's been a great source of pride for us. When we look at where we went in 2020, we ended the year in a really great, position. We had over $400 million worth of capital investment announced, considerable amount of new square footage that's under construction or announced to be under construction for 2020 and 2021. And we're really rolling forward in 2021 with a number of great projects in our lineup. You know, just thinking about some of the tools that we use, you got to have a strong toolbox if you're going to build an economy, and it really comes through partnership that makes it work well for us. We focus on ways in which we can partner together, building on the strengths of each of our organizations and bringing things that are unique to the table that other communities can't. And I think that's helped us in creating a really diversified economy that's helped us weather this pandemic and economic crisis very well. When you look at the numbers over the past year, we have come out of this pandemic in a very good position. Our job retention rate has been strong, and our recovery rate has been remarkable. As of November, we were the top community in the state of Texas for job recovery, where we had recovered 99.5% of the jobs that we had lost in April. And to put it in perspective, we lost 11,500 jobs. And by the end of November, we had recovered 11,200 of those. So we're in a really good position. We have the 8th lowest unemployment rate in the state of Texas right now, and we're very well positioned to continue to grow. One of the things that we've noticed in this is that our labor force number has continued to grow during this time too. We've added about 2,500 additional people into the labor force, and that's been really positive for us as companies are recovering and they're looking for people. We want to make sure that there are a strong number of qualified candidates for those employers to take advantage of. But that also means that we have to concentrate on having strong offerings from our education partners. We work closely with TSTC and MCC along with Baylor, Texas Tech, Tarleton State to ensure that they are aware of the needs of our business community. We work with our public education providers as well on a regular basis so that they too are hearing what the needs of the business community is going to be rolling forward. And we utilize a number of different tools within our toolbox, taking a regional approach to economic development so that the entire McLennan County, Greater Waco area benefits from the work that we're doing. We utilize the Waco McLennan County Economic Development Corporation, the Industrial Foundation for land. We work with our municipal partners, and then we also take advantage of the partnerships that we have at the federal, the state levels, workforce, utilities. All of these people have to be working together in order to have a great partnership for the future of our economy. I'm going to skip through some of these things just from a timing perspective, but contributions to the Economic Development Corporation have continued to grow both by the city and the county. We had been pretty stagnant from 2007 to 2015 with the annual contribution between each organization staying at 1.25 million. But we've been able to grow that, and thank you very much for your investment into the Economic Development Corporation over these years, because it has yielded us the ability to compete with communities that otherwise we wouldn't be able to. In the state of Texas, municipalities are able to allot up to a half cent of their sales tax collections into economic development funds. And while Waco and McLennan County do not do that, do not have that pool of dollars available, the Economic Development Corporation really has allowed us to compete with other communities across the state and with other states and countries, because we do compete on a global basis when it comes to projects looking at our community. This just gives you an idea of what sales tax revenues would look like in our area. The average annual revenue across sales tax communities in the state is $10.7 million on an average basis. And that means that on an annual basis, they are bringing in $10 million a year into their economic development funds, where ours has been in, now at that $5.5 million. And we're getting closer and closer to competing. While consultants will tell you that cash is king when it comes to deals, a community has to have really strong assets in other areas as well in order to make it work. No amount of money is going to make a bad deal work for a community. So while we may not have the largest check on the table, we do have other assets that we bring to the community, to a project, that help us compete regularly with other states and other communities. The things that we focus on in our economic development efforts are primary sector jobs. So those are jobs that bring in new revenues into the community. For instance, a manufacturer that is producing some type of a product and shipping those items outside the community, which is generating new dollars into the area. That is different than a secondary level of employment. So if you think about the primary sector jobs are creating new things and sending them out, secondary, the secondary level would be service industries. Think about if you spend your dollars at the grocery store or at a retailer, those are a recirculation of existing dollars versus the primary sector, which is bringing in new dollars. And we need both of those in order to have a strong return into the community. But for every 100 direct primary sector jobs that's created, there's a spin-off effect. And it will vary from industry to industry, but in general, for every 100 primary sector jobs, there's 168 secondary indirect jobs created in the market, which result in new payrolls, direct and indirect, new outputs for goods and services into the community, and it creates a spin-off or a ripple effect in the community that helps benefit all. Our Economic Development Corporation has been in operation for now 24 years. It's a partnership between the city and the county through a Chapter 380 and 381. We have a 3-member board, and with the city manager, the county judge, and then representative from the Industrial Foundation that serve on that board. The chamber serves as the administrator on behalf of the board doing contract administration. We provide overview for the board, investment recommendations, and then the client relations aspect of that as well. And because we've had a regional focus, we've been able to support projects throughout McLennan County in order to help benefit more residents in the area. So what we've made some adjustments over the past year where we made adjustments to grow the aspects of the Economic Development Corporation. We made some adjustments to the wages there where we moved it from $12 an hour to $15 an hour with an overall average wage requirement of $17.50 in order for those jobs that are incentivized to qualify. As of the end of 2020, we had done a number of deals. We've leveraged almost $1 billion worth of private capital investment. And I ran the numbers just the other day. For every $1 that the Economic Development Corporation has invested, it has yielded a return on investment in private investment of over $22. So I think that's a really strong ratio. $1 of public investment yielding $22 of private investment into the community. We've seen significant growth of the tax base over this period of time. We don't have the 2020 number yet, but we know we'll make an adjustment there when it's available. But you can see that the level of tax base for the community has grown significantly. Even when you take out the adjustment of inflation, we feel like the things that we've done in economic development, the investments that we've done in private sector investment for the community has helped ensure that that not just the residential aspect of the tax base has taken the burden of accounting for the growth of the community. So we want to make sure that we're being mindful of our fiduciary responsibilities there. The things that we do, when we talk about the investments that we're recommending, we take everything into account. We run an economic impact analysis on everything that we do, and want to ensure that there is a strong return on investment to the community, and that we look for an average 20% annual return on investment in a 5-year payback window or less. We're taking into account everything that we can: jobs, salaries, personal and real property investments, taxable spending on behalf of the company into the community, whether or not they have a number of hotel nights that come in and the out-of-town spending that is associated with those. But we look at what's the value of a new company coming in, and also even on the retention side of it, what's the potential loss to the community if a business decides to leave? Because it's just as important that we're retaining our business base as it is that we're attracting new companies in. We ask companies to make commitments to those in order to receive those dollars, not only on capital investment and new and retained jobs, but we're asking them to make commitments on holding those jobs in place for a period of time. We're looking at a number of different tools that we can bring to the table to help make a deal work. But again, we always look for a strong payback to the city and the county in those investments that they're making. I won't go any further into the things, this piece of it, but I would welcome the opportunity to answer any questions that y'all might have about how we're working, what kind of projects we have rolling forward in the pipeline right now. I'll just tell you, it's a really strong, it's going to be a really strong year of economic development for our community. Judge, you're on mute.
Thank you. I would like to make a couple of observations, unless there's questions, and anyone, I welcome any others. I really like to hear that we're growing the workforce, because that's one of our biggest challenges when we talk to these prospects. Do we have the workforce to be able to meet their demands without having to cannibalize into the rest of the similar companies? And growing that workforce tells me that we're doing a good job of training, for one thing, of the people that are up and coming and ready to go into the workforce, but also attracting folks to come into this county to buy homes and live here, because they can get a good job here. I think it's a foregone conclusion that we wouldn't have the success that we had and experienced over the last several years if we wouldn't have made a more robust funding effort or investment effort into the WebMec funding. And it's no accident that's happened. I think Commissioner Jones sees that too, as well, with TIF and being able to make things happen that are just really significant for our community with TIF funding as well. And I appreciate his service on that board. It's a key player in the overall picture of economic development. But the most impressive part, I thought, Chris, was the return on our dollars, where we put $1 of public money in and leverage it and get $22 worth of private investment coming into the community that's taxable. Then lastly, the other thing I noticed on that graph, that our asset base was growing and our sales tax rate was growing at a faster rate. So that has a lot to do with the kind of businesses that we bring in here, and whether sales tax are significant or not on the type of companies. But I think the community's appreciating the fact that we've modified, now that we've got a lot of demand, that we've modified the hourly rate from 12 to 15, as well as moving towards that $17 an hour goal by having that as the overall average. But eventually we will move that entry level in that direction as well. And that higher hourly wage can't be achieved unless you have the kind of companies in here that can afford to pay those kind. In other words, a company that really utilizes and leverages the workforce. I think that all those things have really benefited us going forward. Any other questions or comments anyone might have?
I would like to just give a quick update. Yesterday at the TIF meeting, the city is estimating that the values in the TIF are going to go down 12%.
Mhm.
And that's, to me, that was quite startling. And we, the board recommended that that the project that was awarded yesterday be awarded quite a bit less than what they were asking for.
Right.
So,
Art Center. Yeah.
yes. So and it is it's a non-for-profit kind of but they are taking a quite blighted area and turning it into a really nice it's going to be really nice.
Yeah, good point. Good point. And
but the 12% is concerning. And I would say that TIF is probably has a lot of what, other than industrial, there's not much industrial in TIF, but it has a good, probably cross section of what the whole county looks like,
Yeah. Great.
other than industrial.
Okay, good
And then
point. Thank you.
I'll save my other questions.
Well, if you have others, go ahead.
Well, are we gonna go into executive session?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, because it's specific project.
That's right. All right. Any other questions?
I had one.
Yes, ma'am.
I think one of the best economic programs we have created was WIMDEC. And not to date myself, but I just remember when they brought that before the court, when it was Judge Lewis and some others on the court. So it's been a program, like you said, that's been around, and it has shown to be as effective as they said it would be back in '97. When I look at the community through the lens of, for instance, what we're going through with COVID-19, and when I hear distressing statistics such as that we still have communities because of unemployment and low economic incomes, low incomes rather, that they still suffer from things such as the pandemic more than other communities. What I think about is that that burden falls on us in this arena, and it falls on programs like this one, where the capacity or the ability to fix those disparities so that they don't bleed into other areas such as health crises and things of that nature, is to ensure that we are equitably providing an economic uplift for our communities. So when I look at the fact that I think it was great, we went to $15 an hour, and we're looking at even a higher hourly income. But if individuals who are suffering on the low end of the economic spectrum are not getting that open door, then we don't really help ourselves the way we holistically want to, if that makes sense. So I guess we need to look at pathways to that dilemma.
Yes, ma'am. There are a number of initiatives in the community underway right now, especially with groups like Prosper Waco and their Upskill Waco program, to the workforce certification program that they're working in collaboration with MCC on, but to give people the basic skills that they need in order to qualify for the jobs that are being created, because there are a number of positions available in the community that require a certain level of skill set. They have great wages associated with them, but people have to have skills in order to qualify for them. And so if we can get people those skills to where an HR representative will actually give them a chance and look into what they're doing, I think that's where we need to focus our efforts in supporting those groups that are out there working to train individuals.
I would agree with you there. In addition to that, is there a way, because I know one of the things I like about some of the WIMDEC jobs is that they are industrial manufacturing positions. So they allow an individual to perhaps graduate from high school and then go into a position where they're trained at work, welding and things of that nature. So are our positions still where individuals can do that, because if you're talking about people that graduate and they're already in an economic hardship, you're not talking about people that have 3 and 4 years to go to school. You're talking about people that need to graduate, and they need to be able to acquire a position that allows them to be able to pay their bills, to put food on their table, to feed their families. So are we seeing that in those entry-level manufacturing positions that they're being equitably distributed across these companies?
I don't know that I can answer that exactly the way that you want me to answer it. I can say that I feel confident that the employers in our community are looking at how they can best fill the positions that they have available. If they can identify applicants that are they may not have the exact skill set that is needed for the position, but they are able and willing to come to work and have a good work ethic, that they're willing to take those individuals and they're willing to train them into the positions that they need. And they, quite frankly, they like taking people that are less experienced and training them to their specific needs, because then they don't have to break the bad habits that they might have gained at a different employer, right? So they're able to mold them into the positions that they want them to fill. Um, Companies really value the way that employees come in and are willing to grow in their positions. It is a lot easier to grow a person internally than it is to have to go out and recruit people, especially from outside the market. And so the more that they can do that, the more job training that they're offering in-house and advancement in-house, it's better for them because it creates a sense of loyalty between the company and the employee as well. We work really closely with TSTC and MCC to provide information to our employers about the Skills Development Fund, where they can help get state dollars to offset training costs, both for new employees and for incumbent workers. The high schools are doing a better job of training students to employable skills. Assets like GWAMA are essential to us in being able to take students that perhaps aren't going to go straight to college and get into the workforce and be employable. And those students are coming out making at least $14 an hour. So those are definitely assets within the community. I think we're going to continue to see a focus on that in the future. But there are state mandates in place that require students to have pathways to careers that they have to start making at the 8th grade level of which way they're going to go. And those students are actually, even at that early age, are starting to learn hard skills like welding, so that they will come out of high school and be ready to go into the workforce if they need to.
I'm glad to hear that you guys are working with GWAMA. I don't know why, but for some reason they put me on that board. I don't know anything technical. I just, have a passion for young people and their pathway to success. So I'm glad to see that you're partnering with them. And everything you said is hopeful. I know there are some incentives embedded in that program agreement that allows us to incentivize those businesses that do an aggressive outreach to like people who have been previously incarcerated or now reentering the workforce, individuals, hiring individuals from under and high unemployment areas. So I hope that we're stressing that to businesses so that they know that incentive is out there, because this is it's a lot to ask employers to take on, along with expanding their businesses. You're also asking them to invest in their employees. But I'm hopeful that because of some of the incentives we've embedded in that program agreement, it will make it easier for our employers to be partners with those communities. And again, I always give you kudos for the great job that you're doing, Chris.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Other comments?
GWAMA been open during COVID?
Yes, sir.
Also, I want to give, and Commissioner Smith is aware of this very much so, but these independent school districts that we have are doing, most of them are doing a really good job on dual credits. La Vega's they've kind of taken on their own skills development and have been, recognized for that as well. But, the middle school is where the the seeds planted and then follow that through with the curriculum based around dual credits for those individuals. And it's not only the right thing to do for the student, but as well as for the community, and gives Chris some tools when she showed her toolkit a while ago. Well, that's part of it, to have a educated workforce, at least has the entry level of skills, so they can, and they understand that there's responsibility that goes around that. And they don't have to learn that the first week on the job that, oh, I didn't know we were going to have to do this. They had a exposure to it in school.
And Judge, I want to say this real quickly. Commissioner Miller, I know I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to give you the viewpoint from a business owner. Our concerns are now with what's coming and what's in the pipeline is finding people that are willing to work. I don't think we're going to be in a situation much longer where if you want a job, I think they're going to be out there for you. And now the question is, as a business owner, is what are we going to have to pay to be competitive to keep people coming to work? So I think our dynamics are about to change here in McLennan County in a big way.
That'd be great. Mhm.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, comments for Chris before we go into executive session? Okay. It's 10:42. I'd like to go into executive session under 551.087 regarding economic development. And besides the commissioners, I'd like to ask Chris to stay in, let Francis in, as well as Dustin. And then, of course, our Deputy County Clerk, Mercedes Gowan Perkins, as well.
All right, Judge, give me 5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, I believe we're back in regular session. It's 11:31. Prior to going into executive session, Chris Collins had made a report regarding economic development, and the questions were asked and questions were answered. If there's not anything else about that report, is there a motion to approve that report for recording purposes?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, please call for a vote.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Shelton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. If there's not anything else to come before the court, we stand adjourned. Thank y'all.
The recording has stopped.